Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. Today I'm working on our 2021 Bronco Sport, and obviously I got to tighten this wheel up, but I just put new tires on this a few weeks ago. I barely have 29,000 miles on this, and the rear brake pads went as well, so you're not going to get your full life out of your tires. So plan on changing them, probably around 30,000. They are not covered under warranty through your dealership. Good luck trying to get them warranty covered through the tire manufacturer. I don't know what happened after 2020, but it seems like nobody's honoring these tire warranties unless you are actually buying them directly from a authorized tire dealer. And a Ford dealer is not an authorized dealer for your tires, so crazy. Anyway, brake pads, same thing. I have less than 30,000 miles, and the rear brake pads have gone. I did the other side already, so kind of give you an idea. They're down really low on the one side, almost to the wear marks. So actually at the wear marks, as you can tell from this one right here. So that had to be changed out, and then that other pad as well. So just to give you kind of an idea, fun. I'll show you how to do them. So first things first is you have the dust cover back here, and this is going to be a 7mm bolt. So definitely take these out with care. You do have this little, I guess, little brake spring here. I used a pair of pliers before on the other side, and you kind of pull straight out on it. And then you can release that spring. I'll put that there. I'll probably forget where I put that, but that's all the fun stuff of being a mechanic. Okay, next, you have the eBrake. Now, there are two ways you can actually do this. You can retract it electronically, but if you don't have the scanner, I have the scanner, but if you don't have the scanner, I'll show you how to do it manually. First things first is you want to disconnect the cable up top. It comes off pretty easy. I'll leave that on there for now, and let me grab my brake. And I'm going to put the brake hanger up here, and we're really not going to use it that much, but we're just going to have it there. So 7mm bolt to get this out. So loosen up the bottom one first, because it kind of angles in. You'll kind of understand this when we're putting it back together again. And let's get this up here loose. And it's not a super snug fit to start off with, so you can use a little bit of an extension if you have one, if you needed it. So we'll just get this. Just get this pulled out here. And we're actually not going to be changing the rotors because it hasn't lifted all, so they're still good for a little while. And you can change the rotors out if you would like at this point. And you're probably saying, well, why don't you change them now? Well, because I'll change them later on, just saving a couple bucks right now. And okay, so this is basically, this one's kind of loose. Not all the way. Let's give this a couple more turns. Okay, so that's that. So you want to pull these out now because you're going to actually put some grease on them when we're done. And I might need a needle nose. I'll pull this last one out. Okay, so I'm going to just put these off here to the side because we're going to re-grease those before we put them back on. So this caliper slides out pretty easy, and what we're going to do is we're going to flip it up over here just so we can get this e-brake off. And this is a 5mm. So we'll get this taken out completely. So get that out. Get this one out. And it's kind of raining here, so if the rain starts getting crazy, I apologize if we lose some of the audio. And then you kind of rock this back and forth. And you'll see it kind of break apart. So that is your eBrake right there. And we'll put that off on the side. Just kind of remember the orientation. It goes down by where the cable is. And we got some extra brake grease we're going to put there for now. So those are your brake pads loose, but we are going to get this mounted up here and sit that there for a quick second. And we're going to spray this down with some cleaner. Just kind of let that dry real quick. All right, and next we are going to be basically pushing that piston back in. So we're going to let it sit there like that. So you need a piston tool with the two posts on it. And basically you're going to pull this back. Make sure you have those pegs lined up as good as you can. Wrench. And then we are going to turn this clockwise, and then you'll see the piston start pulling itself in. Do it nice and slow and controlled. You don't want to bust the baffles on the on your cylinder or anything. So we're slipping a little bit, so let's tighten this down a little bit more. Okay, let's keep turning that. Okay, until it bottoms out, so we're good there. And we'll just loosen this up. Okay, so we have this tool out of the way. Let's go hang this up on our hanger real quick. So, okay, brake pads, obviously they come loose, and you can tell how low these sides are. As of right now, the only place I found was Napa that actually carries these. Now I got it all smudged up. It's a PF8893X. I'll try to put a link down there. If I find them in Amazon later, I'll put the link in there as well. And let's put some fresh grease down here. And okay. And we're going to put this pad in here. Pad over on this side. Get some grease so it slides nice and good. And it wasn't that dirty. Usually I clean them up a little bit better and everything else, but they seem kind of on the loose side, so there's not too much dirt and grime buildup. And you can see how loose this is. So this rotor comes off pretty easy. 2 bolts here. Just unscrew that. You take this bracket off. That comes off. Put your new rotor on. You know, and you're good to go. Like I said, for our purposes, I don't need to do that. Oh, let's put the eBrake back on. So I'll let that sit, kind of situated like that. And like I said, it's going to go on the same side as the cabling. Oh. Of course, I can put it on backwards. So try to get it on. And you'll kind of feel it connect and slide onto that bolt. If it does not, work it back out, work it a couple times, just so you get it to fit properly into its slots. And then we're going to put this bolt up here. And then we'll get the final home for this. And we're not quite lined up perfectly. There we go. That's not too bad. I'll put this side here. Little socket wrench issues, but that's okay. And just tighten this until it bottoms out. Okay, tight there. And you'll see it pull itself together nice and tight. Okay. Now, if you live in an area where they use a lot of salt during the winter, you can put a thin bead of grease on that. So let's get this kind of like situated. So let's get these nice and greased. So it'll be easier to get the bottom one started, but let's get that top one in there, ready to go. Just push it until you hear it kind of like that snap, and you'll know you're kind of lined up, or at least in the general vicinity. And you'll start feeling it. Thread slide in, and then up here, same thing. You got to push it forward a little bit because you got that little spring on the brake pad, so that's going to help push it. And this is pulling together nicely. Just torque it to spec. Back to spec, and I always like to get a little bit of grease and put it on this end to kind of help keep the weather out. Alright, so now we click this, and you'll hear it snap into place, and then spring, which I did not forget about. Alright, so you want to put the spring in here, store at the top, and then you kind of want to guide it into the hole as you pull forward down here. Sometimes you might need a pair of pliers, sometimes you can get it by hand, but anyway, so let's make sure that that's sitting nice and good. That's nice and tight. That's in. These are torqued out. You got your dust covers. Make sure you put those in. Always make sure it's got dust covers, and then we're ready to go. Anyway, next, obviously, just put the tire on and then pump your brakes manually to build up pressure in here, and then test your eBrake. Put it, engage it, disengage it once or twice to make sure that it is basically calibrating itself. And if for any reason why it feels like it's dragging, or whatever it is, you may have to get a scanner so you can electronically calibrate this. But that has not been my experience with these. Anyhow, Brian from Garage Mahal, thanks for watching, and be safe out there.